Dear students, in this lesson, we deal with the social organization of the Hindus. Generally speaking, the process of doing things in an orderly fashion is called organization. When we speak of social organization, we talk about the arrangement of actions which conform with the norms and values of society. Thus, to understand the social organization of a particular society, in this case Hindu society, we need to study the systematic ordering of social relations, including changes that have taken place over time in them. In any description of social organization of a people, we need to refer to the ideological basis of the way the people act. In this lesson, we introduce you to some fundamental concepts of Hindu religion upon which Hindu social institutions and collective activities are based. The religious concepts of the Hindus give us the ideological basis of the ways they organize their socio-economic activities, their festivals and rituals. We have therefore discussed some of the major ideas of Hinduism. We also give a demographic profile of the Hindu community in India. Aspects of its basic social institutions, namely of marriage and family, are also discussed. Marriage and family among the Hindus. Before we discuss specific institutions of the Hindus in India, let us emphasize how widely spread this community is. Consequently, in the areas of marriage or family, there are regional variations. What you will read in these pages is a generalization covering the common elements and mentioning in passing about the variations. By and large, to marry and raise a family is a sacramental activity for the Hindus. Let us first look at the institution of marriage and then at the family in the Hindu community. Hindu marriage. Marriage is a sacred duty for all Hindus. It is an obligatory sacrament because the birth of a son is considered by many Hindus as necessary for obtaining moksha. In order to perform important rituals towards gods and ancestors, the sacred texts decree that it is obligatory for a Hindu to be married and have male descendants. Today, a large number of Hindus may, however, not believe in the practice these traditional ideas and associated customs. Marriage is considered to be one of the sacraments sanctifying the body, mind and soul of the groom and bride. Therefore, at the proper age and time, every Hindu woman and a man is expected to get married. A wife is considered to be the instrumental in helping her husband fulfill the four kinds of purushartha, namely dharma, artha, kama and moksha. According to this view of marriage, a man is thought to be incomplete without a wife and children. The picture you are about to see demonstrates the traditional Hindu marriage. When we discuss Hindu marriage, we should also speak of the 8 forms of marriage, which describe the ways marriages are traditionally consecrated among the Hindus. 8 forms of Hindu marriage. Before enumerating these 8 forms, let us make it clear that here we are not talking about the usual usage in sociology regarding the forms of marriage. In sociology, we discuss monogamy, polygamy, and group marriage, etc. under the topic of forms of marriage. In that respect, it will suffice to note there that monogamy, that is, a man is married to one woman at a time, is the usual form of marriage among the Hindus. But various forms of polygamy are also found in the Hindu community. A widow is allowed to remarry among lower castes. Higher castes usually prohibit widow marriage. The Hindu Marriage Act of 1955 permits divorce on the grounds of insanity, leprosy, adultery, etc. Coming back to the forms of marriage among the Hindus, only the first 4 of the following 8 forms bring purification to ancestors on the sides of father and mother. The remaining 4 forms produce no such value. Pondi, 1976, 159 to 169. The 8 forms are given below. The Brahma form. It comprises the gift or giving away of the daughter by the father to a man who has learned the Veda. The Daiva form. It involves the giving away the daughter by the father to a priest who duly officiates a sacrifice during the course of its performance. The Arsha form. It consists of the daughter being given away by the father to a man after receiving a cow and a bull from the bridegroom, not with an intention of selling the child, but in accordance with the requirement of the dharma. The Prajapatiya form. In this form of marriage, the father gives away his daughter to the bridegroom and addresses the couple to perform their dharma together. The Asura form. It involves a payment by the bridegroom to the bride's father for obtaining a wife. The Gandharva form. Here the bride and the bridegroom agree to marry at their own consent. Such a decision to marry is consequently consecrated by going through the sacred rites of marriage. The Rakshasa form. This is described as a marriage through force. The Paishacha form. In this form, a man first seduces a woman who may be intoxicated or mentally retarded and subsequently marries her. Of these 8 forms of marriage, the giving away of the daughter by her father described in first 4 is considered as the ideal form. The right to give a maiden in marriage is held by the father, the grandfather, the brothers, the kinspersons, and the mother in that order. The Hindus lay stress on premarital chastity on the part of both the male and the female. Prabhu, 1979, 153-154. The marital bond is also to be respected through mutual fidelity. There are also forms of endogamy, marriage within a certain group, and exogamy, marriage outside the group, for which rules are laid down. These rules are designed to regulate the Hindu marriage in the sense of specifying the choice of spouses within specific. Endogamy. The widest category of endogamy for a Hindu is her varna. Within each varna are several castes and subcastes which are considered to be the categories for endogamy in the region. We do also come across some inter-subcaste marriages in contemporary times. Yet these are few and far between. The rule of caste-subcaste endogamy is the prescribed mode followed by most of the Hindus all over India. Exogamy. As regards the rule of exogamy, a Hindu is enjoined not to marry within his own gotra. The word gotra in this context denotes one's extended family or the clan. The gotra of a family is usually named after the ancestor who founded the family. People with a common ancestor are not allowed to marry each other. At present, the rule of exogamy is usually defined in terms of prohibition of marriage within 5 generations on the mother's side and the 7 generations on the father's side. However, this rule can be circumvented by letting someone of a different gotra to the kanyadhan. That is the right of giving the daughter away in marriage. Madden, 1965. There is a clearly defined limit up to which persons are considered to be related in such a way that their marriage cannot be permitted. There are marked differences in North India and South India in this regard. In North India, a marriage between both the cross and parallel cousins is prohibited, while in South India, cross cousins are allowed to marry. Thus, the Gotra rule, as understood in North India, does not apply to the Hindus of South India. The most common form of marriage is that the bridegroom and his group goes to the bride's home. There, the bride is given away by the father or her guardian with the due rituals and ceremonies. Variations, of course, occur according to the region and caste. The salient features of the marriage rites and their significance are described in the Unit 7 of Block 2 of this course. The continuity of the family is one of the objects of marriage. We will now examine the family in the context of the Hindu community. The Hindu family. For a Hindu, the event of marriage signifies the completion of the Brahmacharya ashram, that is the stage of a celibate life. Marriage heralds the beginning of the householder stage, Grihastha. Now begins the process of the preservation and continuity of the Kula or the family. A Hindu home symbolizes the continuity of its living members, past members that are no more and future members that are yet to come. The living members are considered to be the trustees of the home. It is supposed to belong to the ancestor and includes the interests of the male descendants of the family. The individual as such does not belong to the home. One only performs one's dharma. The home is the place where dharma and karma are practiced by the people who are enjoined to remain detached yet conduct the affairs of the world. Prabhu, 1979, 216 to 217. For a Hindu, his or her life in the stage of a householder is lived and regulated in terms of dharma and karma. In performing these two activities, one also performs one's artha and kama. This process leads one towards the final goal, moksha. The form of Hindu family. The most striking feature of Hindu family is its jointness. That is to say, the unit of residence is often not confined to the parents and their children only. It usually includes 3 generations living under the same roof and sharing the family property in common. The joint family in India in general and among the Hindus in particular is believed to be the ideal form of family. In practice, we find many combinations and permutations of family living among the Hindus. Whether living in a nuclear or a joint family, most Hindu families prefer that each member goes through some basic life cycle rituals. These sacraments have been prescribed by the sacred texts and are meant for purifying body and mind. The sacraments are supposed to help make the human being into a social being. Some of them purify a human being in the present life and others help in the life after death. From birth to death, the sacraments, rituals help in organizing and disciplining the life of Hindus and enabling them to perform the dharma in accordance with their status. There is a diversity in the observance of the sacrament. Depending on the region and caste, different number of sacraments are observed. There are rituals from which women are excluded. Yet other rituals have special significance for them. Thus, for a female, the nuptial ceremony is regarded as being an equal significance to the sacrament of Upanayana, the stage when a male child is initiated into the study of the Veda. Relations among family members. As the concepts of dharma and karma are so much a part of the Hindu way of life, both at normative and behavioral levels, we find that each member in the family has his or her prescribed sacred duty. General principles of differentiations on the basis of age and sex regulate the relations within the Hindu family in terms of precedence, obedience, and subservience. Males are more respected than females, and members senior in age command more respect than the younger members. For example, the father is respected more than the mother and has greater authority. The father's mother, by virtue of her age, is respected by all members who are younger to her. It is considered ideal for a man and wife to live with all their married sons in a joint family. They are to be respected and cared for by the sons and their wives and children. It is expected that the sons and their wives will perform their duties to the satisfaction of the parents and thereby earn their blessings and religious merit. The sons have a right in their father's ancestral property. The age-old rules of inheritance, which are still customary, give ownership and inheritance rights to males, while they give only maintenance rights to females. These customary rules continue to prevail even today. The Hindu Succession Act and the Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act 1956, however, introduced some changes. The Act makes the husband legally responsible for the maintenance of his wife and children. According to this Act, which is also applicable to Jains, Buddhists and Sikhs, the property of Hindus comes down to his sons, daughters, widow and mother. Daughters legally have a share equal to that of sons in their father's property. In actual practice, customs and tradition continue to be so powerful that very few women are able to take advantage of their rights. From being a member of the primary group, such as the family, one goes on being a part of one's lineage and subcaste caste. The largest category of this belongingness for a Hindu can be expressed in terms of the idea of Varna. Let us now understand the Varna system among the Hindus. Hindu kinship patterns. Hindu social structure and kinship patterns derived from the Jajmani system are so pervasive that they strongly affect all social groups in India, not just Hindus. The resultant hierarchical orientation manifests in all social encounters. For example, there are no peer relationships in a family. Genealogical age, not chronological, often determines formal behavior, which manifests through the common usage of denotative kinship terms. Even the way a Hindu is supposed to live an ideal life is based on stratification. First one is a student, then a householder, then a hermit, and finally a wandering ascetic who has renounced the world. This, of course, is for men. The purpose of women is to be virtuous and to serve men according to the laws of Manu, the legal code of Hinduism. Prior to their codification, however, pre-Aryan indigenous culture enjoyed far more egalitarian gender relations. Caste and Jajmani system. The Jajmani system is a social contract system of reciprocal relations. In this group-based society, not individual-based, discipline is imposed by sanctions outside of the family as well as legitimated by them. Most actions of an individual are conducted in relation to various groups to which that person belongs and are meditated by the groups as well. Membership in most groups is ascriptive, assigned by virtue of birth, as opposed to being based on achievement, something an individual does or obtains. Main characteristics of Jajmani system. Dependent on face-to-face interactions, reciprocity is important in this. In the village, everyone knows one another's caste and place position. Hierarchically ranked according to purity pollution continuum. Caste itself is not the only means of expression of hierarchical ideas. This also manifested in land ownership, power, etc. Based on ascribed, not achieved status. Endogamy. Marriage within a group is not only strongly preferred but is a critical component of social life which provides social cement for the larger community. Commensality. The notion that one eats freely only with other members of one's own group. Acceptors of cooked food are lower in status than the givers. These notions of hierarchy is effect penetrate every level of social life. Occupational specializations levels in the Jajmani system. Family, close kin, perhaps extended family. In North India, hierarchy is ranked by one's relationship to one's father, as it is a patriarchal, patrilineal system. In the South, elements of a matrilineal system remain in places, so the basics of ranking within the family may be a bit different. When a marriage occurs, the boy's family, which takes in his wife at the time of marriage, that is, one gives a daughter away in marriage, establishes a higher status than the family that gives their daughter away in marriage. Families are considered to be an extended family when they share a common stove. Biradari, kinship group, lineage, clan, descent from one common ancestor, too close for Hindus to marry within, though Muslims prefer to do so. Jati, local subcaste unit in which one should marry. This is a tight network of small groups on the village level which may extend to neighboring villages. On a practical level, this is the arena in which most caste interactions occur, though what we have come to term caste is actually Jat. There are hundreds of Jats in India. There are thousands of Jatis in India. Jat, the larger caste group which defines where one stands with a vis level of purity, occupational specialization and the like. This is the largest group into which a Hindu may marry, and one is not expected to know everyone in one's Jat. Varna, the larger grouping of 4, actually 5 when include untouchables who are actually left out of the list. Groups in which every Jat can be placed. Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. The first 3 groups consist of twice born souls. Relations between villagers revolves around caste, kinship and stated concerns. Some sort of hierarchical orientation manifests in all social encounters. An example of this is the common usage of denotative kinship terms used for biological and fictive kin alike. Example, note the use of chacha, father's brother, which is frequently used. There are no peer relationships in family. Denotative kinship terminology is crucial, causing genealogical age, not chronological age, to determine formal behavior. Even bodily parts are valued in an hierarchical order. The head at the top, the feet at the bottom, hence it is the insulting to point the bottom of one's feet at someone's in Indian culture. The way a Hindu is supposed to live in an ideal life is based on stratification. First one is a student, then a householder, then a hermit, and finally a wandering ascetic who has renounced the world. This, of course, is for men. The purpose of women is to be virtuous and to serve men according to the laws of Manu. Prior to their codification, however, indigenous culture, which was pre-Aryan, had much more egalitarian gender relations. Conclusion. The Hindu marriage is not really a social contract but a religious sacrament. It results in a more or less permanent relationship between a man and woman. Their aim is not merely physical pleasure but spiritual advancement. It is not merely an individual function but has a serial enjoyment of sexual pleasure. It exhibits an integral approach to this serial institution. The main aim of Hindu marriage can be summarized as follows. Fulfillment of dharma or religion's duties. According to the Hindu scriptures, marriage is a basic of all religion activities. In the words of K.M. Kapadia, marriage is primarily for the fulfillment of duties. The basic aim of marriage was dharma. Procreation. In Hindu families, the child is given a very important place. According to Rig Veda, the husband accepts the palm of wife in order to get a high-breed progeny. According to Manu, the chief aim of marriage is procreation. Mahabharata has also maintained the same view. Sexual pleasure. The Hindu scriptures have compared the sexual pleasure with the relation of divine bliss. According to Vatsyayana, sexual pleasure is the chief in marriage. As marriage is said to be sacred, it is irrevocable. Other parties to the marriage can't dissolve it at will. Each is bound to the other until the death of either of them, and the wife is supposed to be bound to her husband even after his death. Concept of marriage that it is indissoluble is a lofty one because it means that the husband and wife after marriage each to adjust their tastes and temper their ideas and interests instead of breaking with each other when they find that these differ. Hindu marriage, thus viewed, is not an ordinary affair wherein the weakness of flesh plays a dominant part. On the contrary, demands of personal gratification and pleasures are subordinated, and the individual is called upon to make marriage a success by means of compromise and adjustment.